Right now, downtown Miami condos have 22 months of supply. However, days on market dropped to the lowest for the quarter at only 66 days. More inventory, but yet faster sales at the same time. This is not what you expect to see. And today, I want to show you exactly what it means and what it tells us about where this market may be heading. I am Jose Laya, and I was born and raised right here in Miami, and I've been selling real estate in the city for 20 years. I've seen every market cycle this city has gone through, and today I'm going to give you the real numbers. And here we have the graph for the second quarter of 2026 on a month-by-month basis, as well as the totals for the second quarter on that bottom row that you see there in light blue. Let's jump right in. Look at the actives. Now, we're not going to go into too much detail, but we are going to tell you, look at the actives. They went from 677 to 759 and 820. This is a normal function of the real estate market, as we explained many times before. But if you're new here, what happens at the end of the first quarter, a lot of listings that are active, they fall off the market or they expire March 31st and April 1st. So what you always have is April will always have a lower number of active listings, followed by this, we call it a ramping up effect of more listings coming back on the market. So April, May, June, you're always going to have higher active listings. Why? Because as the listings that expire on March 31st or April 1st, those sellers come back on the market and re-enter the market and relist, and they're also competing with new active listings. This is a normal function of the real estate market. We discovered that that's exactly why that takes place. So it's not a cause for concern. Let's move on now to the closed sales. So look at this. While the active listings were ramping up, look at the closed sales. They were going up as well from April, May to June, 33 and then 39 and then slightly down to 37. That's great. That's what kept months of supply pretty much at that 21 to 22 months of supply, which we're not going to sugarcoat it. That is extraordinarily high. That means there's almost 2 years of supply available. That's a lot. The interesting part of that, look at the days on market. The days on market actually decreased month over month from April to May to June from 105 to 77 to then 66. That is very interesting. And obviously, as we focus on that number in June of 66 days on the market, that was the fastest of any month for the second quarter, even though months of supply increased to 22. That's because of the number of active sales increasing to 820, as you could see here. However, that 66 days on the market, it tells you that the units that are priced correctly are finding buyers, and they're finding them faster than at any point in this quarter. And on the topic of totals for the second quarter, we always like to highlight the highest price closed sale of the quarter. And it was a high floor corner unit, 5-bedroom at the Aston Martin Residences. It was almost 4,000 square feet. It sold for $5.1 million, or about $1,300 per square foot. To give you some context, those corner units at the Aston Martin Residences are very sought after because, again, they're almost 4,000 square feet. Those larger type units are not easily found in downtown, especially on the waterfront. So they've become very sought after, and that's why you see that sale for $5.1 million, the highest price closed sale in downtown Miami for the second quarter of 20. Now we're going to take these numbers of the second quarter and try to put them in context by comparing them to the numbers of the first quarter. Not only to put them in context, but to see if we can spot any trends moving into the third quarter. Let's take a look at that graph now. And here we have Q1 versus Q2. Bottom row is the percent change. And look at that, active listings pretty much flat. While, look at the number of closed sales. It increased almost 30% from 86 to 109. That, of course, is going to bring months of supply down. Listen, 29 is extraordinarily high, so is 23, but it's a good improvement. It's a 20% decrease. While days on market also decreased. So more sales at a faster pace. That's a good sign. Now, look at the pricing. The median price per square foot dropped to $580 from $617, while the median price sold also decreased. Both roughly between about 6 and 8%, close to, let's call it 10%. And here's what I want to highlight for you and what the data is telling us. And it's one of the most important insights in this entire report for downtown Miami. You have more closings, faster sales at lower prices, all happening at the same time. What does that tell you? It tells you the buyers are already here. They're circling downtown Miami right now. They're watching it. They want to be here, but they're being very patient and disciplined. With the market with 23 months of supply, they know they can wait and that they don't have to overpay. The moment a seller prices their unit accordingly where the market actually is, those buyers are transacting. So the market is rewarding correct pricing with faster sales. This is a market with price sensitive demand, and that matters tremendously when you're a seller. That means the moment the pricing aligns with where buyers are, the data shows it's happening more and more and faster. So where does this data suggest that the market is heading into the third quarter? From what we can see here, if sellers continue to adjust pricing to meet the buyers who are clearly ready and waiting, you would expect to see the closing volume continue to grow and days on market continue to improve. The wild card, let's be honest, it's there. Inventory. If this new supply wave slows, this market could find its balance faster than many expect. And that is the number I'm going to be watching closely heading into the third quarter. As we have mentioned, downtown Miami is seeing a handful of new towers deliver product this year. Therefore, you're starting to see hundreds of apartments put up for resale. So we feel that's really going to test the market in downtown Miami heading into the third and fourth quarter. I will have the full picture for you of the third quarter once the data is in. Subscribe so you don't miss it. So what does this mean for you? If you're a buyer in downtown Miami, obviously the numbers are in your favor. You have significant leverage as over 800 active listings for sale in an area that is really not that large. 22 months of supply also tells you that you have options, and more importantly, you have time and negotiating power. The units that have been sitting on the market should be motivated. The days on market improvement tells you that other buyers are starting to act. If you're a seller in downtown Miami, I need to be direct with you. The data is trying to tell you something. 820 active listings in an area that is not very large. If your unit is not priced correctly, you're not going to get any phone calls, nonetheless showings. And you will watch the days on market climb while the market moves on without you. The units signed in those 66 days are the ones priced where the market actually is. You need to study those comparables carefully and price accordingly from day one. You cannot chase this market, as you will fall behind. And that is your complete Downtown Miami Condo Market Report for the second quarter of 2026. We showed you exactly where the market has been, where it stands today, and where it may be heading into the second half of 2026. If you found this useful, subscribe. I cover different Miami condo neighborhoods with real data and 20 years of experience behind every number I share with you. Drop your questions in the comments or reach out directly if you are ready to buy or sell in downtown Miami. I am always happy to help.